Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
Nicolas, explain to me what the fans are feeling about what Mr. Gallops said. What did he say? What's got them so wrong?
Okay, well, it all, basically after Sunday's game against Newcastle, Mr. David Gallops presented the Melbourne Storm Rugby League Club with the minor premiership trophy. And on presentation, he got jeered at and booed and drowned out during his speech. Obviously, David's gone away and back home, and then he's done an interview for a Queensland journalist, and basically has said that he condones what happened on Sunday at the Amy Park, and that he felt that Melbourne Storm supporters, their passion was like what you'd liken the passion of a terrorist. Which is just the comparison from an educated man is just unbelievable. It's really an uneducated point of view, and that has shocked a lot of us. To wake up to that this morning and have all the East Coast papers reporting on that is indeed quite a shock.
What do you think the fans should do?
Well, one of the positive things we've done this year is we've moved on from last year. It's been 16 months since those the salary cap breaches took place. As fans, and I can speak on behalf of a lot of them, we acknowledge, and this is what annoys me about the blog today, we acknowledge that we did cheat last year. Not us personally, but those people involved in the club, those people who we hope are no longer there. But the players, people say that they cheated, they didn't. It's probably their managers who are involved. People behind the scenes were involved, and that's what you got to remember. Those people in New South Wales and Queensland have got to remember that. Yeah, we acknowledge that. All right, but what we don't acknowledge is that the CEO of the NRL taking 16 months to come down and basically come to face with the Melbourne Storm fans and expecting nothing to happen. I mean, that's just a joke in itself. That's taken 16 months. We had a fans forum that basically every other club was attended at pre-season. We didn't get an invite, or we didn't attend. Now you think after last year, basically we would be on one of the first on the list, because we are passionate people. We believe in our sport down here, and we acknowledge that what we did was wrong. But at the same time, don't wait 16 months to come and confront us. And also, just remember that it still hurts us, and every time this is brought up, it even hurts us more. And then these comments today basically took it overboard. I mean, to be compared to a terrorist or have the passion of a terrorist is just, it's absurd. It really is absurd that how you can compare me to someone that you can't even see, who usually, a terrorist is someone who doesn't even show their face. Look, I can tell you, most Melbourne supporters are proud to show their faces and proud to show their support, and that's what happened on Sunday. And I'm sorry, but that's what happens at AFL Grand Finals. We jeer and boo the Prime Minister. We jeer and boo everyone. But do you see Andrew Demetrio getting up and carrying on if he gets booed at attending a finals game? No. So this is where, David, you've got to obviously grow up.
Gallops says that by carrying on as they did, the Storm fans are clearly endorsing the cheating. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I have to say, how that's the case, he doesn't know us very well at all. And maybe had he had the decency to come in and speak to some of us who are educated and who are passionate, but at the same time civilised, and will talk to someone about what's happened, we'd acknowledge what happened was wrong. What you got to remember is that it's probably the process that we're angry about, how it was done. The penalties were given out, and then we did this big, long-winded, audit on the club. Now, I don't know, I'm in business. Usually when you do an audit, you do it before you give out penalties. I think the tax office would do that. Usually they would do an audit, and if there was something wrong, then they'd give you a penalty. Well, that's what we're angry about, Mr. David Gallops. We're also angry about that you can't even bother to attend more than one Melbourne Storm game for the whole season. I mean, what we've accomplished this year as a group is amazing. Every supporter is on cloud nine. We never ever thought this would happen after last year, but you know, what I'm very proud of is that this every week in, week out, these guys who a lot of people said, well, they wouldn't win more than 4 or 5 games, have proved everyone wrong, and hopefully we keep on, improving everyone wrong.
Is Gallup fit to be a CEO of the NRL?
Not at all. I mean, as I said before, Andrew Dimitriev, he did this in the AFL, which is, you know, a similar sports body. If he did that, we'd expect him to resign, and I expect, you know, like if he was serious, I mean, he's taken this too personally, for one. You don't make comments about that. I mean, we're talking about the worst terrorist attack, you know, the anniversary of the worst terrorist attack on this earth, you know, September 11. You know, I and others who support the Melbourne Storm basically knew people who died in that. And to even bring up the word terrorist and on an anniversary is just, it's sick. It really is so degrading for what's happening. We should be respecting that day. Now, you've got to remember also, Mr. Gallup, that we have Muslim supporters, and basically you're comparing them to people that did these atrocities, and that is wrong. That is so totally wrong, because I can tell you, we're passionate. We're passionate about our sport, that's all. You know, and just that he honestly should look at himself and just say, look, I'm not fit to even, you know, govern the NRL, let alone sit on the independent commission when that takes place in the next couple of months.
Melbourne Storm have said they're not going to take any action. Do you think the fans should take action?
Well, as I've said before, we have moved on, and I'm applauding. I was a bit disappointed it took so long this afternoon for a sort of statement to come out, but I'm applauding the group because they've got bigger things to work on over the next couple of weeks. We're 2 wins away from winning probably the greatest premiership of all time. If we can do that, this would be the greatest achievement ever by any club in the NRL's history. And probably even in world sport, there would be not many teams who have been suffered the punishment that we have, and to come back the year after. You'd have to look through the history books, but I'm sure there's not many. Those players, the support staff, deserve to be left to work out on bigger things, and we support that. As fans, look, we could take out many different opportunities. The biggest one would be defamation of character, because basically you're comparing us to what you are. You've come out, Mr. Gallup, and said basically today that you know, in your so-called apology that you're sorry for what happened, but that apology is not good enough. The apology was not good enough. You didn't even mention the word that you mentioned the other day. And if you're going to do an apology, at least acknowledge what you said was wrong, and you haven't done that in anything I've read. And then the statement that was on the NRL website does not state that. So, but as supporters, all right, we've got to just prove to everyone else we're better than everyone else as well. And how we're going to do that is what we've done all year, and we've gone on with it. We've admitted that we cheated. Well, the people in the past didn't. We personally didn't, but we acknowledge that, and that takes a lot. I would love to see a lot of other supporters of any sporting code take on what we have had. You know, all the memberships, you know, all the memorabilia that we've bought, it's, you know, worthless in a lot of people's eyes, and people believe that, you know, when you go to games, they say that we cheated. We didn't, all right? But we acknowledge that what the club did at that previous administration was wrong, all right? We move on, but at the same time, you know, you got to think why people would jeer. And 16 months to be left in the wilderness, and that's what it's basically been. To left in the wilderness is a joke. In a national competition, it's an absolute joke.
I'm not a terrorist. Here we go, yep, we did it again. It's your friends, the peace, now riders, and we blowing in the wind.